needing a new design of bottle. By 1894, the kilners were making over 3,000 different varieties of glass bottles and jars. All of them were stored in their London warehouse.
Now this is Brooks Wharf. There's a description in the booklet about just how many thousands and thousands and thousands of bottles were on display there for customers to say, yeah, from the smallest vial to the largest show bottle, they call them. I don't know what those are. Presumably the things that we put coins in now to save lifeboats in pubs. But nevertheless, I mean, just every conceivable type of bottle was in there. Customers came down and said, oh, I'll have 1,000 of those, 100,000 of those, 20,000 of those, onto more ships, which were presumably anchored here in these pilings, and then off to everywhere.
Kilner Glass was a classic Victorian family firm. With no death duties, 19th century businesses like the Kilners could be passed down through the generations. After John Kilner died, aged 65, his 4 sons took over Kilner Glass, each running a different department. Third son, George, was Jeremy's great-great-great-grandfather. But it was one of the next generation that would bring the Kilner empire to its peak, George's son, Caleb. It was during Caleb's time that demand for consumer goods and packaging really took off. And it wasn't just alcohol. From medicines to food to chemicals, glass containers were in huge demand. The Kilners were in the right business.
Hi, Philip. Yeah, it's Jeremy Clarkson. Listen, I'm sorry to disturb you. I was just wondering, how many people on the Sunday Times Rich list are involved in packaging? Have you got that on a computer database that you just look up? They've got how much? 4.95 billion. Smurfit, 262. Instant, 60. That's all I want, yeah. Okay, take care, bye. Packaging still is the business to be in. I mean, it was back then, obviously, and it is now. The Rousings, the people who do Tetra Pak, you know, the milk cartons that spray milk everywhere when you open them, 4.95 billion, they're the 3rd richest people in Britain. Cornish, 700 million, the Smurfits, 262 million, and so it goes on. I mean, packaging, I suppose it's because you have it, you throw it away. You always have new bits of packaging. And it was then, I mean, that's what the Kilners were doing. They were in packaging. It was disposable. Well, I want to know if you can still buy Kilner jars. Hi there. Do you mind if this lot come in? Do you have any Kilner jars?
No, you can't get Kilner jars anymore.
You can't? Do you think it's hinged or screw top?
Screw top.
It is, you see. I thought it was a hinged thing. But
No, they're the Le Parfait jars, the French ones.
The French ones. So it's all gone. What a baffling thing. I mean, how can a company that size have disappeared? I've spotted an opening in the market. I'm going to start like a glassworks with like a rubber seal and a screw top. Call it something like the Kilner jar. So far, I've got the sense of scale of Kilner's, how big it was, but uncovered none of that Victorian ingenuity, which must have existed, otherwise we still wouldn't refer to the Kilner jar.
The brochure boasts that the Kilners won an award, but it doesn't say what for. So Jeremy heads to South Kensington, the site of one of the great Victorian exhibitions.
Because they won prizes at the Great Exhibition in 1862, and I want to see what they won them for. Was it just quality, or was it something to do with this elusive Kilner jar?
The Great Exhibitions embodied the spirit of the Victorian age. A remarkable 1/4 of the British population visited the 1862 exhibition to marvel at the best the industrial might of Britain had to offer. Not to be left out, Kilner Glass secured a stand. to show off their wares to an eager world.
Andy.
Andy McConnell is an expert on the history of glass.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks very much.
Good.
Indeed. Yeah.
You found a little spot out the heat.
Yeah,
The reason I've come down here to this part of the neck of the woods, 1862, wasn't it? Was or 162, the big exhibition.
yes, the London International.
The exhibition. Now, it says in the Kilner brochure that they won some prizes here and some medals.
Well, this is what they won it for.
Ah, 5. Good. We're there.
There we are. You're not going to call this a Kilner jar?
No, that's nothing in like a Kilner jar.
It's for wine merchants. It re-emphasises, whilst the Kilner jar, the name is held in this particular vessel, but in fact, what you're talking about is one of 3,000 objects that were being produced by 1,500 people on 2 sites that covered 17 acres. I mean, with its own railway sidings. The 2 factories were talking to each other by telephone. I mean, they were
2 Kilner factories.
The 2 Kilner factories in 1870s. They had telephones. I mean, extraordinary. They were absolutely on the button. You know, they're building their own railway carriages. They've got depots in London where you can actually bring the train into the depot to unload. I mean, we're talking about stupendous operation here. I mean, these guys were big. The bottle kings. You know, they were the bottle kings.
It seems like Kilner were making 3,000 different products.
They were.
And yet, only one of them has become known as a Kilner jar, and nobody seems to know what it is.
One person who understands the Victorian ingenuity that created the Kilner jar is Susan Mossman, glass curator at the Science Museum. According to Susan, it was during the 1890s that Caleb finally hit upon the idea that would immortalise the name Kilner.
Yeah, there you are, the family name.
That's a Kilner jar.
That's the Kilner jar.
Which has a screw top.
Exactly.
Not a hinged top.
Not a hinge top, no.
So it's a screw top.
Screw top.
Followed by a... Right, with a rubber seal.
With a rubber seal, and that's probably that's the airtight seal.
And was that the clever bit?
That probably is the clever bit, combined with these screw tops, which were invented in the middle of the 19th century.
It might look like just another glass jar to us, but in the days before refrigeration, new ways of preserving food were big news.
Because you can put a very hot preserve in it, cool it down in the bottle, and it's airtight and it's bacteria-free.
But did they take out a patent on it?
There's 1999, which you can be it's very, very sort of worn actually. You can hardly see it.
Where is it? Can I just...
I think it's just there.
The number on the bottom of the jar could be a patent number.
Thirsty work, sleuthing. But worthwhile. Sounds awful because we've now reached the point where we've established what Kilner was. Dynamic, go-ahead, large, huge. And then it went. And I'm sure there's a very important, noble social reason why that happened. General strike, depression, foreign competition, could be anything. But selfishly, I'm quite keen to find out what happened to the money. So there's plainly a lot of it. So first port of call in the morning, Patents Office. 1999 written on that bottle. Is there somewhere a dusty piece of paper that says Jeremy Clarkson is owed £42 billion?
Next morning, Jeremy arrives at the British Library where copies of all patents are kept.
Have you remembered your number that you spotted on?
Oh yeah, 1999. How could I forget that? So it says, I was going to make a £4 billion, but then, I forgot the number. So now I've remembered the number. Morning.
Morning.
Jeremy Clarkson. I have an appointment to see... You've already done it. This is what went wrong with Britain. Okay, we've got the British Library, so people get their passes there, and then they walk all the way around. Yeah, that works. That works well. And shall we make the building really beautiful? Yeah, let's. Look at it. There are crematoriums in Midlands towns that are more beautiful than that. Stephen. Jeremy Clarkson. Sorry to drag you out of bed.